Welcome to another daily dose of Drupal. Today we are on episode number 32, and we're going to be going over a module called Masquerade. In this module, what it allows you to do is it basically allows you to fake login or spoof another user on your website. And this can be important for a wide variety of reasons. If you are developing a site that has a lot of users and a lot of different permissions and roles, and you, instead of having to log out and log back in as a bunch of different users, having this module installed can make it very easy to switch back and forth between different users. I wouldn't necessarily recommend installing this on a lot of production sites. It just has, if someone gets access, it could get a little messy, but as long as you watch your permissions carefully, it would still be okay. But it is one module that I could see used on a lot of development sites, especially bigger Drupal websites that have a lot of features and a lot of permissions. So we'll go ahead and get started. It's going to be a real simple module, and we should be able to get through this pretty quickly here. So I have a Drupal 7 test site. Go ahead and download the module. Make sure I know how to spell it here. And we will go ahead and go to the modules page. Scroll down and find the Masquerade module. There it is. Go ahead and hit save. Now after it's been saved, we can configure the permissions, which we'll take a look at that. There are 3 permissions in the Masquerade module. One would be to allow you to masquerade as a user. One would be to masquerade as admin, which is the site admin user ID number 1. And the other one is to administer Masquerade. Obviously, you should be very careful giving out these permissions and only give them to administrators, especially on live or production websites. If we come back in and go to configure, there's a couple of things here. So it says roles that are considered administrators for masquerading, so go ahead and select administrator there. And now it allows you to enter usernames of accounts so you can easily switch back and forth between users. So we have a new site here, so we don't have any users, so go ahead and create a couple users. So I'll create a test user here. And we'll have them be an authenticated user. And I'm also going to add a role. And we will call this role site reviewer. Maybe you're building a blog and you wanted some users to be able to review content or do specific things with content, but not fully administer the site. So we could come in and edit some permissions and give them the ability to we don't really have too many options here, but we could allow them to perhaps view user profiles. So go ahead and save this. And if we come back to the roles, we want to make sure, if we look at, go ahead and look at all of them at once here. So the only ones who can view user profiles are site reviewer and administrator. So we'll go ahead and create one more user. And we'll call this user reviewer. And we want to give them the reviewer role. We'll go ahead and save that. Make sure I get the passwords right. Okay. So now if we come in, we have our 3 different users. So the next step is to actually come out to our Masquerade settings, and we'll type in, we'll say we want to easily switch between the reviewer, but we also want the reviewer and test user to show up in the block, and I'll show you what that is here in just a second, but we'll start by going to the home page. You'll see that there's a little link here now in the navigation that says Masquerade as Reviewer. So you can see I have the admin bar here. I'm logged in as Shane, who's the user ID number 1 account. So if I go to Masquerade as Reviewer, all of a sudden I am now logged in, if I go to my account, as the reviewer user. I can do everything that the reviewer user would be able to do if they were logged in. I didn't have to log out, remember a bunch of different passwords. It just made it very easy. And now there's a link to switch back. So if we go ahead to structure blocks, there's a Masquerade block in here. We'll go ahead and add that to the first sidebar and come back to the home page. And now you'll see this is where we added those multiple users. So you can have the block showing when you really need to switch back and forth between a bunch of different users. Now if we switch to test 1, you'll notice that we're now logged in as test 1. And we can of course switch back. If we come back here, you'll notice that this user will say Shane is user/1. So we'll go ahead and go back to test 1, and we will try to get to that page. You'll notice we get access denied. If we switch back and come in as reviewer, go to user-1 page or user/1 page, you notice we can get to that user profile. So as you can see, it's a very simple module, but it serves its purpose very well of allowing you to spoof or log in or switch back and forth between different users without having to go through the full log out, log in process in managing a bunch of different accounts. Go ahead and give it a try and let me know what you think. If you have any other Drupal modules you want me to go over, any other topics you want me to cover, go ahead and you contact me on Twitter at smthomas3, or come to codekarate.com, click on contact, or find some other way to get a hold of me. Until next time, thanks for watching the Daily Dose of Drupal.